YouTube, what's up? What's up? What's up? Young Mustard is back, and I'm on the mic to talk about Dennis Smith Jr. Yes, everybody who's been requesting for me to do a video on how great Dennis Smith Jr. can become, here it is, man. So Dennis Smith Jr. is a 19-year-old, 6'3" point guard coming out of NC State, and he was drafted with the 9th overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft. And for those who don't know, this guy is a freak of nature. His dunks, his acrobatic finishes, everything, even his shooting sometimes when he gets those and ones once in a while. This guy is amazing. He's an amazing player in terms of his athleticism. And honestly, his ability to shoot from three is actually pretty solid, as he takes almost 5 threes a game and he makes about 38% of them. That's amazing for him. And if we're being honest, that is something that he's going to desperately need in the NBA, because players like De'Aaron Fox, he has a question mark when it comes to his shooting. That's the biggest thing about him that could potentially make him like the next Elfrid Payton and make him a potential bust. But hey, Dennis Smith, he got that in check. This guy in college averaged 18 points a game, 2 steals, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 72% from the free throw line, which needs to go up obviously. Also shot 36% from 3. I need to correct myself because before I said 38%, it was actually 36% from 3, and shot 46% from the field. The guy was a ridiculous player, man. His athleticism is just something that we haven't seen enter the draft in a long time. So also, when you compare him to a lot of these point guards, who I would compare him to would not be Russell Westbrook, because a lot of people are saying he could be like the next Russell Westbrook, because whenever we see an athletic player, primarily a point guard, we like to compare him to Russell Westbrook because he's probably the most athletic point guard that we've ever seen in the NBA. But who I would compare Dennis Smith Jr. to is Derrick Rose. And honestly, I'm not even going to look at the talent or how they play. I'm looking at the career. Now, this is where we get to the downside of Dennis Smith Jr. Dennis Smith Jr. has already suffered a torn ACL in high school. Yes, I know it's hard to believe with how great he played in college and how great he even did in the summer league, but we need to face the reality that the Derrick Rose path is something that anyone can go through. It doesn't matter if you're a great player, it doesn't matter if you're a scrub, it can happen to anyone. Derrick Rose was the MVP of the NBA. Who knows if he would be considered the most athletic point guard in NBA history had it not been for his injuries and his setbacks. So when it comes to Dennis Smith Jr., my word of advice primarily is his landing, because people don't understand that the way a player lands usually determines how his knees are going to hold up. And honestly, primarily that is with Derrick Rose. Dennis Smith Jr. lands in such a way that is just scary. And for someone who has had an ACL injury, because yeah, he tore his ACL already in high school, that is something that he needs to be aware of. And I know he's played ridiculous. Imagine if he never had an ACL injury, and who knows if that has stunted his ability to play the game of basketball at even a better and a more proficient level. But we need to face the reality that Dennis Smith Jr. has the potential and the chance to be like Derrick Rose. He may have a few productive seasons, hell, he may even win the MVP like Derrick Rose did. But at the end of the day, this man lands in such a scary way that it frightens me that he could suffer another ACL, meniscus injury, anything. And I mean anything is possible when it comes to knee and leg injuries. So I just really hope that he changes the way that he lands. But hey, besides that downside of an injury, because he's already suffered an ACL injury and I fear that he could suffer another one due to his landing, besides that, this guy's got all the upside in the world. He could be an MVP candidate one day. This guy could be an all-star. And hey, shout out to the Mavs, because they have not had a point guard in a long time. And they're kind of lucky that Dennis Smith fell out of the top 8 picks of the draft. I mean, Jesus Christ, the Knicks. How much else do you gotta take? Bulls, I don't even want to address your stupid franchise. Y'all been pissing me off over the past few months. But hey, shout out to the Mavs, because they haven't had a point guard that can be an all-star in what? Steve Nash, that's the last point guard. I mean, they've had Devin Harris, they've had Deron Williams, they've had Jason Kidd, JJ Barea, and I'm not saying that they haven't had a player who's made the all-star team at the point guard position, but a perennial all-star, someone that could lead their team in the future going forward. I mean, when's the last time they had a franchise player besides Dirk Nowitzki? And if you take away the 2011 run that they had, I mean, everything's been filled with disappointment and mediocrity, if we're being honest. Yes, they've made the playoffs, but all those years in the past few seasons that they've made the playoffs has been, what, 8-6 seeds? And then if you take that away, it's all ended in nearly failure and disappointment like the 2006 NBA Finals. So I think drafting Dennis Smith Jr. is the right move for the Mavericks, and it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully they are willing to do whatever it takes. Now that Harrison Barnes contract, that's a topic for another discussion. And the contract that they threw at Dirk is another topic for another discussion. But you guys get the point. Great move, great pick for the Mavericks. It's the perfect situation for Dennis Smith Jr. And hey, shout out to the Mavs for making the right pick, and shout out to Dennis Smith Jr. because I think he has high potential. He's got amazing upside, and guys, I hope the downside of the injuries, because that's really the only downside. I don't see him being a bust in terms of his talent and what he can do on the court. But like I said, the injuries are a huge risk for any team that drafts Dennis Smith Jr. So hey, this is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Have a great day. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and add me on Snapchat. Hey, we out of here. Peace.
I always tell the truth, boy, I ain't gotta lie. If you ain't fucking with us, don't come to our side. We're from the club around 3:30. I've been up in it, going James Worthy. I've been up going away up, thinking about it all day, fuck. How many more can fit in a ride? Hit me, I pull up on any side.